Hey, and welcome to Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics. And right now I'm at the Fushimi-Inari temple area in the outskirts of Kyoto, Japan. So this is one of the most famous and really amazing areas in all of Japan. So this specific area with all these beautiful orange columns is known as the 1,000 Gates. So these huge bamboo columns, each one has been donated by different Japanese companies seeking fortune and prosperity for their companies. And this has been going on, it seems, for a very long time. This whole shrine is about 1,200 years old. And I'm just on the way to the top of the mountain. And it's actually a long trek to the top. You definitely get a workout done. So anyway, in this video, I want to talk a little bit about the idea of seeking blessings, praying, and does this actually work? Is this something that you can do? Like, for example, in some of the shrines, companies place their business cards because they are hoping to get more prosperity for their companies if the goddess of rice hears their request. Oh yeah, by the way, if you like these videos, please hit that subscribe button. Help keep this whole thing going. So, interestingly, you know, when you dive into kind of objective spirituality, when you dive into the subject of communication with the other side, opening yourself up to other realms of existence, then it's almost like we go full circle, and it's possible to kind of start taking seriously the mythologies and the so-called superstitions again, because you begin to see how on an interdimensional or multidimensional level there's a lot of things that are quite possible. I'm trying not to be too loud, so when I see groups of people walk by, I will go a little bit more quiet. But I'm actually very lucky here because I guess normally this place is packed with tourists, but I've come early enough on a weekday, so it's not so bad. Anyway, so you kind of come full circle, and thinking about things multidimensionally, I mean, it's really interesting because I've talked to a lot of people who have explored like astral projection states for many, many years, and they have recounted visits with all kinds of multidimensional entities. So, for example, mythological entities, archetypal entities, and from that perspective, it makes sense to me when a culture, such as the ancient Japanese culture, begins to believe in, for example, a goddess of rice, Inari, I guess. Because, I mean, when you have a mystical experience, when you have a so-called spiritual experience, it's kind of like a jungle out there. There's all kinds of weird, interesting entities out in the cosmos. And once you're in these states, in these multi-dimensional states, who knows who and what you may encounter. Now, we also know that communication with these other realms is only a thought away. So you find the entity that you want to communicate with, and you just have to think to that thing, and it will hear you if it's an advanced entity. And therefore, it would seem that the concept of prayer could very much have an effect. You find the entity that you wish to send a message to, whether that is somebody you know personally, or in this case, like the goddess in a temple. And it kind of makes sense in that circumstance to perhaps, be seeking fortune for your company or something along those lines. So, now will it actually work? Now that's the thing, because I also feel like this type of thing doesn't just come easy for everybody, because whatever kind of entities are out there, it's not their prerogative to interfere with our free will. And frankly, I would feel a little bit suspicious if any such entity was so willing to come in and give us fortune, give us good luck, whatever it might be. Because if that were the case, then the question arises, like, what do we owe it? The famous concept of making a pact with the devil. So let's say you pray and you get good fortune and you win the lottery or something happens. Okay, now in exchange for this earthly success, what on a non-earthly level do you now owe this creature that you made a deal with? Maybe creature is a tough word, but this entity, whatever it might be. So for that reason, I'm personally quite hesitant to get involved in that type of thing. And if you go into the literature behind occult practices, I mean, that's almost the basis behind all of it, which is contacting otherworldly entities and looking for favor, looking for advantages, whether that is health, wealth, or any other type of success. But ultimately, though, you know, when we go into these concepts like objective spirituality, these, no matter how crazy the concept is, we move outside of superstition and religion, and we're going into a kind of objectivity. And I do think when ancient cultures build places like this shrine, then I think originally it's not superstition. You know, I think originally it is an authentic belief based on people's experiences. But then, of course, over centuries, whatever those initial experiences were become just folk tales, and then beliefs fade and it becomes, I guess, becomes superstition, even if originally maybe there was something more to it. Well, those are just some thoughts I had about that concept. But yeah, so let's get some shots of the rest of the temple. As you can see, those are the companies that donate these columns. It doesn't seem so old, does it? It actually, I mean, it looks brand new. Maybe they like refurbished these, or they swapped them out. They take out old columns, put in new ones, possibly. I don't know. I'm actually near the top of the mountain at this point. There's far fewer tourists when we get up this high, because fewer tourists have the leg power to climb all the way up the mountain like this. Which is also nice, because again, you know, it's like very quiet, not so many people around. Well, all right, so that's it for this video. If you like this stuff, please head to afterlifetopics.com. You can listen to more of my ramblings. You can check out my books like Understanding Life After Death, The Afterlife, and Beyond. And as for me, I guess I am going to continue on this hike. I think it's probably about an hour and a half to get back. So yeah, here in Kyoto, Japan. And I'll see you guys on the next video.